So the next topic, TikTok getting banned in the US, that is not happening. I don't think
I don't
anyone.
know what's the TLDR on that going on right now.
So basically, TikTok has, as you know, President Trump tried to ban TikTok, and then he banned it. Then it went to the U.S. courts, and it was ruled that he could not. Now, there has Congress has passed.
Wait, Donald Trump tried to ban TikTok?
Yeah, how the worlds have changed.
So much happened during that time. It's a little blurry, some of the details. So Donald Trump tried to ban TikTok when he was the president. And what you're saying is Donald Trump, somebody knocked him down, a Supreme Court. Who did?
So he went to court. They went to court over it, and basically it was not allowed. And then Biden and them dropped it. Yes, Trump was for banning TikTok at one point, and now he is against it.
It got a whole Wikipedia page. He viewed the app as a national security threat. Okay. TikTok later announced plans to file legal action challenging the transactional prohibitions with the US because Congress has the trade authority. So then what happened? Okay, well, I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to go back and do some more research on that. Not live, but okay, sorry. All right. So as we know in the past, was this like 2019 or something? No, he wasn't a president then. 2019.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he was.
So is that during that time? But now
In 2020.
in
Okay.
2020. So
Okay.
now
So
it's
he was trying to ban it, and now we're back around full circle. They're trying to ban it again.
and they're not trying. That's the thing. They're not trying to ban it. They're saying a company that is not an adversary company owned by someone from a country that's not adversary to the US government has to buy TikTok. This was recommended by the committee with a 50-0 vote, and then it went to the House. And I think the House passed it with like 352 to 65. It's a bipartisan issue that everyone seems to be going at, but
Okay,
they're not
wait.
trying to.
That makes my sirens go off because is there a company they already all have in mind?
Well, that's the first. Only few companies would be able to buy them. Very few companies would be able to buy them. But the bigger problem, I think, overall with it is it gives the executive branch the power. So this would be a bill, right, coming out, and from the initial my readings on it, it would give the executive branch a the ability to shut down a website, an app that it thinks is adversary to the government. Uh, uh, you know, and what can they declare that? You know, which governments can they declare? Acts again. Could they argue, depending on who's the president, that it's bad for the US? They're working with a country that's bad for the US. So no, we can't. You know, it gives a lot of power to the executive branch.
Yeah,
And
because so what you're describing is the authority or the congressional power to pass laws and regulate trade. We have three branches of the government: legislative, executive, and judiciary, as you know, just for people who don't. And each one of them has certain powers, but they can delegate the powers either to another branch or to a cabinet or whatever. Certain things are supposed to be non-delegable, but we won't get into that. There is the power to regulate foreign trade lies with Congress, except in times of a national emergency or when Congress delegates that authority in a specific realm, which in this case is social media apps which could pose a national security threat or whatever. So I don't like that, because the reason that Congress has those abilities is because they are representative of the country in a different way than one person is in the executive branch, and you're giving something that is supposed to be up for a vote as a representative, body to one person. And that could be great whenever it comes to a Chinese surveillance app. But what about whenever it's a free speech app that people are legitimately able to speak their minds or whatever? All of a sudden, something, I mean, I don't honestly trust Joe Biden's judgment. I don't honestly trust Donald Trump's judgment on any given day what app gets to be open and not, based on their personal opinion. Like, no offense, but I mean, they're both partisan, and I could see it being used. What's good for the goose ain't good for the gander, and it scares me a little bit.
No, it's really scary, and it doesn't matter who's in power. It truly does not matter who's in power. You got to look at these laws. Your person that you're supporting might be in today, and this might seem like a great idea, but tomorrow you can have a person that does not support your views and does not agree with you, and now they have all this power. So anything that gives a single person or more power to regulate our speech, I think is always just not a good argument. And here,
Also, it makes me wonder, like, TikTok can access all your cameras and microphones at any time. I don't like that. I wish they couldn't. But if it's that bad, what's stopping Congress from just passing that law? Like,
no,
TikTok is banned. Nobody wants to be the one to ban it. Like, they're going to give the power over to Joe Biden, who can't walk, can't talk, can't string a sentence together, can't walk up a flight of stairs reliably. He gets to decide what's a threat and not. I'm not sure that, y'all. Would you hire him to work at an ice cream stand if he was a man on the street? No, you wouldn't.
and the issue is their big argument is national security, the data being sent over to China, and then them being able to, manipulate the what people see and shift political views and do a lot of that stuff, which is all good, valid points. But it shouldn't be regulated through, hey, we can just ban any company that we think we're going to define. And all these laws or all these things that are always passed end up being used, like they're shown to be used for the good, but then people use them to control people. Look at everything, all the stuff that's been have and all those laws that were passed just gave so much power to people in government over normal course. And at that time, everyone agreed with it. Hey, give them the power, give them the power. So we should be careful when we're giving them the power. They can pass laws and say no company can share data. And if they do, this is what's going to happen. Um, just because a Chinese company doesn't own uh, a company in the US, it was with Airbnb, was another company where they were caught giving all this data to China. Like they don't have to be Chinese owned. And then our own companies, like, Facebook, I don't know who they're selling to, where they're selling the data. They can sell anything anywhere. They collect all our data. So I think if they're going to pass laws, they should be, again, to protect consumers, pass laws as to your data can't be shared for advertisements. Your data can't be shared with another country. Your data can't be used for that. We're going to tell you what we're pushing to you. We're going to show you the code of what's making this happen. So that way everyone's aware, hey, this type of stuff is being promoted, this stuff is not. Um, those are the laws and things that we should be passing, not the government can take people's rights away.
Yeah,
And companies.
it's literally taking protection away from the people. It's actually stripping us of future protection that currently is in place. I mean, try to get these people to agree on anything. The only thing that they can agree on in Congress is to shirk off their responsibility that they were voted into office by the people to effectuate. They were voted to do that. And now they're just passing it off, can't get nothing else done.
It's a scary world when you start giving up your rights. And just everyone always pay attention when these laws are getting passed, when these bills are going through, what is in the um, fine print, because a lot of stuff gets pushed through that, it's like Trojan horse. It's, you don't know what else is being read. Like, don't read the top headline and just go with it.
Oh my
Uh,
god, did we learn that lesson as hard as we could on the Free Britney movement?
yeah, that was. What about that disaster?
Y'all, they made a law. Well, first thing that had happened was all of a sudden, I mean, within like 2 weeks, there was this group that was calling themselves Free Britney America that just completely inundated the Free Britney movement. I mean, they were making videos with the leaders, Kevin and all of them. They were sending people presents. They had even reached out to me and asked if they could put my videos and my content up on their Free Britney America website. I mean, they were just in there. It was 3 or 4 of them. They were posting. It was like professional, like thumbnails on their Instagram posts. It was just kind of like out of nowhere. They just showed up the day that Britney Spears spoke. Well, within a very short time, I'm talking weeks, less than a month, they were doing these interviews with Fox News and CNN, like big news corporations. And we had been working on this for years, y'all. It was very difficult to get an interview with a big name media corporation like a Fox or a ABC. Now, come to find out, these were all kind of like white label, they were just putting the ABC label. It wasn't like actual ABC. They were like licensing the name or whatever. But anyway, they came in and then they started talking about starting a national nonprofit and writing a law and doing all this stuff. And it was fast. And it was like, it all sounded good if you just listened, on the surface, but stuff didn't add up. Prem ended up looking up one of the guys and finding out he was on a what registry actively for what with a minor. And I was making videos about it. But anyway, it all kind of led up to this point where they were personal friends, just so happened to have personal contacts with 2 Congress people, representatives, something, Charlie Crist, Nancy Mace. I don't know what positions they were in at the time, but Charlie Crist was about to be running for Florida governor. And he was also serving as some kind of something at the national federal level. And then they're pushing this bill. They're calling it the Free Britney bill. It came out right in tangent with like a big documentary. CNN's doing stories. These people are that person, this person, that person. It's like, now I would see it as an obvious media push. But at the time, I wasn't quite so educated on the realities of things. I was a little naive, a little bit. And this bill, they were calling it the Free Britney Act, the Free Britney Act, which sounds great. And they had their talking points and everything. And I'm not going to get into the details. I already did this monologue too long, but it had nothing to do with Free Britney. And in fact, if the law would have been in place whenever Britney was put into the conservatorship, it probably would have ended up worse for her. I'll put it that way. Maybe I'll make another video on the Free Britney Act. But I mean, I started making videos. They changed the name of it. They changed it to the Free Act. And I think it's still on the books. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was a complete setup. And again, if you just went with the name of the bill, you'd be like, oh, yeah, it's Free Britney. Did not Free Britney would have made it worse.
And keep that in mind, because I remember some other cases recently I won't mention because it's going to get too heated without any context. I don't feel like getting off into the weeds. But there was another case recently in the news and everything like that where they were naming this new law in a certain sunshine state a certain name, but really it had nothing to do with that name. You know what I'm talking about? I could send you. We can talk about it later.
No,
But basically, it's like the blah 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 bill, the doot 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 bill, the da 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 act, and it's like people get in their mind that it's like, don't say, you know what I mean? It's like, wait, hold on, is that actually what that said though? Because Free Britney Act sounds good. Don't say bleep sounds bad. But maybe we should start reading these things first because they will name it something that is opposite to what's inside of it, and they do it on purpose. All right, I'm done with that one. I mean, I'm done with my soapbox.
and so it goes back, like, why aren't they passing laws to help the people out? Even like all the laws that were passed in EU with like trying to get you privacy, and everything. Now the disclaimers that show up on the website, they're so misleading. They're done in a way where you don't even know what you're clicking. And I'm somewhat tech savvy and I see what they're doing to get the answers that they want and how they're trying to take advantage of people that probably are not as tech savvy, so they can get them to agree to giving their data. Oh, Ella's coming in. Come on, Ella. Oh,
Anyway, let him take care of Ella. She gets a bit ornery. To Donald Trump TikTok. Are you ready to come back? I can't hear Prim in the backstage. Oh,
sorry, Ella jumped on. Where were we at?
I took you off the camera. I don't even remember. I got so distracted. I was looking back at Donald Trump. I didn't know how long that was going to take if you were going to bring her out or put her in a different room or something. Did Ella just take Prim out? She did.
She tried. She's
she's
quick.
getting grouchy. She's getting grouchy and ornery in her old age. And she particularly terrorizes Prim because I think he spoils her a little bit more. We want to see Ella. I'm sure she'll be back. A circus full of vipers. It does feel like that. So let me think. What were you talking about? Do y'all remember? You were talking about bills. The bill names are intentionally misleading to get votes from folks who don't read to the end. Oh, you were talking about the click wrap and the not agreeing.
Yeah,
Not
no,
agreeing
it's
with
so hard to like navigate through that and make sure that you keep your privacy. They can even pass more laws to fix that. There's so many laws and things that they could pass, but it would affect the big companies' advertisements. It would affect the big companies, and they won't pass that. But they'll
Well, that
pass a law or put in something in place where if they don't like a company, they can take them out. They won't just go blanket across to everyone, and it's very telling when you really look at what's going on. Because most people would agree, and I agree. Hey, the data shouldn't be going to the Chinese government. Hey, it's pretty crazy to think that another country can influence what people are seeing, and with that influence they can change people's minds, make them do different things, and really, you know what the US media used to do, they can program with them with their own stuff, which is very scary. But so because that's really scary, it's very easy to say, oh yes, ban TikTok or make TikTok sell to a US company. um, that's not going to fix majority of that stuff. That stuff goes on.
Yeah, no, and it's like if people's main concern is like, they can open your camera at any time or whatever, like there's nothing stopping them from still being able to do any of that. The only real thing that I see them arguing on is where the data is going, and I don't even see them arguing on if the data should be allowed to be extracted from people, only who should get to own it, and that's pretty scary. I did see this comment, people don't even read the terms of service on their $3,000 new laptop, and that is true. A lot of people don't even bother. But I would venture to wager that a substantial majority of people, the average consumer who owns a $3,000 laptop in that, category, even if they wanted to, they couldn't really understand the full scope of what they were agreeing to. Like, I mean, it's like tech contracts written by tech lawyers. Like, even not tech lawyers probably wouldn't even fully understand a lot of these agreements. It's written like that in a way where it's like impossible for the average person to understand it, which brings to question, back to the Sherman Act, when does the government step in? Because right now, technically, people are agreeing to the contracts. People are agreeing. And so it's like, how do you interfere with somebody's contract? Oh, well, it's a national emergency. Oh, well, it's whatever, lawsuit against the DOJ, I guess. Like Apple and TikTok, like, could even be flipped with how they would deal with it.
Yeah, no, we just got to be careful with it. And I don't have much more on the TikTok stuff.